All right. So since we are gonna be here all night if we don't hurry up something. So I'm gonna do the power 10 minutes, let's call it the power 10, whatever we want to call it. We're
Sure.
gonna power through the next part, and I'm just gonna ask you and the chat for your names in these different situations because we're about to talk coaches and we've talked a lot about the coach already. We have a very, very good understanding of what the chat thinks about this coach.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, they want
so
to keep him. They want to extend him.
we've talked about his pros and cons of him already, and you have a thing in here to ask the chat if they want to keep him or fire him. We know the answer to that already. So everybody in here seems to be on the fire him
Yeah.
uh, train, except for Kosa, who loves him. I'm just kidding, Kosa. Love you, buddy. I mean, you're definitely leading the train. You're driving that shit.
You're
Love it.
such a smart ass, Anthony.
All right, so let's go. If fired, what kind of player, what kind of coaching profile do you want next? You were just talking a lot about Andy Reid and a lot about Mike Tomlin.
Mhm.
So the next type of profile, similar to what we did with the GMs, you want a young offensive play caller, a CEO or culture fixer, or a college program builder. There's names for each of those that you have in this list, so I know you have them locked and loaded. What are you looking at in terms of Mike is gone? Who do I want next?
Yeah. So, again, offense or chat, please put in offensive guru, CEO type, or college builder through the draft or whatever, however you
Yeah.
want to call it. So for what do I want? I want a CEO type
Yeah.
personally, like a Mike Tomlin, get Vance Joseph back as an option. I mean, I'm not saying that these are ones that I would definitely want to sign, but get them in for an interview. You have your young offensive play callers, and I just threw a couple names in here. Joe Brady from the Bills, Todd Monken, Dan Pitcher, who's the Bengals OC. Your college program kind of builders, right? Building through the draft, being able to develop players. Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama head coach. Dan Lanning, Lane Kiffin, right? So pulling some from the college ranks to come be a head coach at the pro level. I'll be really curious to see what kind of style you want. Do you want a college coach coming to the pros? Do you want a CEO culture fixture, somebody that's going to come in and just manage the shit out of this team and this franchise and let his coaches coach, but hire the right people and make the right decisions? Or do you want a young kind of up and coming, I don't kind of like Mike McDaniel, but we didn't even know Mike McDaniel until we signed him, but kind of one of those Joe Brady ones that are kind of younger. That's always in the conversation.
I think I've really fallen into the wanting a coach who's done it before
Yeah.
thing, and that's always been the exact opposite of how I felt. But then I think it was somebody in the chat actually pointed out that the last like 4 or 5 coaches we had were all first time head coaches.
Yep.
And I'm just like, okay, well something needs to change then.
Yeah.
And the change I'm looking at is somebody who's done it before. The only college coach I really have any interest in is the Notre Dame guy. I think he is an incredible culture builder, and culture fixing, culture building is where I am leaning heavily on what I want next. So I think I don't know if he is yet ready to be an NFL head coach. I think he needs a few more years at Notre Dame or maybe an even bigger program. But my eye is on him if this next guy doesn't work out. But in terms of like the guy after Mike, I don't really have names, but I know I want a culture builder. I know I want somebody who's going to come in like Dan Campbell over in Detroit. Thank you, Gator. Marcus Freeman. I want a guy like Dan Campbell who's going to come in and he's going to just flip it upside down. And Dan Campbell does it right. Dan Campbell's doing successfully what Mike McDaniel's trying to do.
I was about to say that
in Miami,
yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Dan Campbell is the exact same way with his players. His players are first. His players are the best. His players are on a pedestal. He will do anything for them. Run through a wall for them.
Take some kneecaps.
Take some kneecaps for him. But dude, if you F up, you're out.
Yeah.
You're out.
Yeah, he found that razor's edge between players, coach, and kind of militant, not dictatorship, but that militant kind of, I'm going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
You're going to do what you need to do when you need to do it, or you're out. And there's no questions asked. There's no, we're here to do, this is a business. And I love that. And that's why Dan Campbell was always my choice. I wish we would have kept him.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some chat going on about Tomlin, by the way, which I'll get to. I'll get to in a second. But yeah, I mean, I am firmly in the I would prefer if we have a guy who's been a head coach before.
Yeah, I know we haven't gotten to the chat, but most people said CEO culture type guy as well. Yeah.
I think Vrabel was a big miss, and I did not like Vrabel. So last year when people were talking about it, I was like, nah, that's stupid, and obviously I was wrong.
Yeah, and I do think the best thing Vrabel has done so far is hire Josh McDaniel as an OC.
Yeah, well, Josh McDaniel is one of the best OCs there is. He's just a terrible head coach.
Exactly.
Terrible, which is very similar to the McDaniel we have.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get to the chat real quick, and then we'll get to the next one, which is the quarterback plan. Oh, boy. So True Blazer says CEO. Jorge says CEO. Kosa says that he does not like Mike Tomlin, and there's a lot of spicy takes on that. Abel says that's a very spicy take from Kosa there. Taylor also wants a CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Last Dolphins head coach hired with NFL coaching experience was Dave Wanstead. What a pull, True Blazer. Thank you for that.
It's a good point.
Yep. So Campanelli, there's the first one I've seen for Campanelli. But I would also like to see somebody who's been a coach before. Malachi jumping into the chat in the hour and 22-minute mark. We don't care. We still appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for popping in. And another I love a Vrabel type for sure.